Hey everybody, Andy here, aka Montolio, and we are back for another Vintage League. We're going to be playing some of my Null Rod Aggro Shops build that I put together a couple months ago to be able to combat the Lurus decks that were running around. And Stonecoil was a big piece of putting this together. Null Rod, of course, and Stonecoil being able to combat the Psychic Frogs, and main deck Null Rods to be able to really gum up the Lurus decks that were trying to spur their game plan on through fast mana. This deck, of course, has fallen the wayside somewhat, though, since the restriction of Vexing Bauble and Urza's Saga. And the Lurus decks have changed to a much more controlling version versus a turbo version, and that they're only running 3 Moxes as well as Black Lotus, and of course some builds are running 4 Mishra's Baubles, but that's really it. So the Null Rod is not quite as effectual as it once was against those builds, and thus this list has fallen off the wayside, and it's just not performing quite as well. But that said, I really do want to try it back out and see how it does. I've been playing a little bit of Ravager Shops recently, and really wondering how this deck list is going to do as well. And so not a whole lot to say about the main deck. I am running a Singleton Ghost Quarter and Inventor's Fair in place of and Tabernacle for that matter, in place of the missing sagas. So a little bit more of a Golo Shops type sideboard. I wasn't running Tabernacle main in my builds because my deck has creatures in it, and uh, there's a chance that I can get wastelanded out and be stuck under my own Tabernacle. So that was not ideal, but of course, I think it just is a natural progression here and is worth the risk having it because there is a lot of bizarre decks running around, and Tabernacle can be a vital piece of combating those, particularly in the opening game, having one as big game. And other than that, I think I've just put in a Phyrexian Metamorph back into this list, main deck, at the expense of a Null Rod. I've moved the Null Rod into the board, and yeah, the sideboard doesn't need a whole lot of explanation. I do think that Leyline of the Void is just a compulsory card to be running in your sideboard if you're able to support it. I mean, any deck can support it, but there are some decks that don't want to run it, such as Lurus, because of the obvious lack of synergy there. But I'm on those, and I do have the fourth rod on the sideboard. There is a lot of Jewel Shops running around still, and of course, Null Rod is very good against them. So appreciate you hanging out. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you're able, and I try and get back to everybody, and we're going to see you in round one. Okay, guys, here we are in round one. Unfortunately, we did not win the die roll. But I do think this is a reasonable hand. They'd like to play Oath of Druids. I have a Caracas here. I've got a Snake to be able to stop an Oko or an Atraxa, despite it's not likely to work. If this was on the play, this would be a much stronger hand, but that's quite often the case when you play these type of builds. So opponent is mulled to 5. It is Oath. And they have an Oath of Druids here. Okay. Well, that is a pretty good mull to 5. I just need to try and get winning here. Okay. And Caracas is potentially big game here. Next turn I can cast a Null Rod, perhaps. No, a lot of this just has to do with how well they hit here. They have Pyroblasts. They did hit a recall. And they do have Oko. We have a pretty good chance of... Oh, they found Boseiju. Oh, no. Yeah. So we're probably dead here. They can time walk and Boseiju here. Yep. They are down to 20 cards, so I don't know how many Atraxas they have in their hand, if any, but they've got to be careful here not to mill themselves out. Yep. Bit unfortunate, but down to 11. Okay. Well, they do have a Memory's Journey here. So there is a Wasteland. Brain Freeze, Underworld Breach. Interesting. We're playing against a bit of a brew here. So they put Breach. Okay. So I'm taking a big hit here, which is unfortunate because I'm desperately wanting to kill them, but not much I can do about it. Okay. Target my Patchwork. Okay, that's not bad for me, believe it or not, because um, I have the Null Rod. Now, I guess they have Force probably, but oh, it's a Breach, just straight up. Yep. Okay, that I do lose here. Yeah. Okay. Nicely done. I don't think I want Leyline. You know what? I do like Patchwork on the play. Probably don't need Inventor's Fair. Just a little bit slow for what I'm trying to do. Vexing Bauble, probably okay. I think Metamorph's a card I'm more interested in on the draw than I am on the play, where they're more apt to get their combo off. It's awkward, but put Golos away. So again, we do have the Caracas, which is exciting. Play the Thorn and hope we can resolve it. Mm-hmm. That's pretty disappointing. I hope we find a Null Rod here. Well, there's not much I can do about it here. We do need to deploy. The fact they have the on-color Mox is quite unfortunate, but yep. Okay. I guess the question, I just want to make a 2-2? For fear of being strip mined here, I think I have to do it this way. So they did find a Force of Vigor here. Yeah, Oath of Druids always has been and always will be the bane of workshop decks. It's a tough one. Well, they only hit 3 cards. What I'm trying to figure out here, guys, is if I would like to top my Caracas here to get the Crucible in. I don't think so. I think I'm just going to cast the Crucible here. Pump my guy up. And next turn, we can start wastelanding. I just think it's an unnecessary risk. I need to just push that one Atraxa back to their hand here. They're going to Memory's Journey here. And next turn, if we draw an artifact, we win. We'll cost them 3 mana to Memory's Journey. Yep. Now they're going to Memory's Journey. They didn't know, or they didn't Memory's Journey. $13. Okay, they didn't have to work very hard on that one. That's smart timing. And they're going after Wasteland, Besiege You, and Stripmine. Yep. So they will find one. Oh, I should have actually bounced in response because of Besiege You. Oops, that was a big mistake. And they did find Besiege You. Whether they'll take that, they took Wasteland. Yeah, not liking my chances. Next turn they can show and tell. I guess Null Rod really gums this up bad for them. Crucible gums it up for them. Grafdigger's Cage. Cage does not actually stop them show and telling, though. So if they don't have a blue source, they can't show and tell here, but otherwise they can. They are low on cards in their library here, so there's no guarantees they have one. Oh, they just had another Atraxa with 6 cards left in their library. Yikes. Okay. Snake can shore this up. I can cast a really big snake. Crucible Worlds. That was really risky of them to do that with 11 cards in their library. I don't know. I like how we played this. I mean, my opponent had turn 1 oath both games, so Yep, time walk. Okay. They did have multiple blue sources. All right, they got us, guys. There was the snake. Okay, here we are in round 2. We did win the die roll this time. Yeah. I'm going to play it a little bit greedy, guys. Like, if they have a counter to the Vexing Bauble, there's not much I can do about it. But I just feel like I need to glean as much value out of this as I can. And if the Bauble resolves, it's going to beat a lot of decks from this position. They did have the Force, okay. Hmm. We are beaten down pretty hard here next turn. Going to be hitting for at least 10, and if I find a land, I can kill because I can attach it. And I did. See if it resolves. Yep. Pretty good value there. Excuse me. It's possible they could combo me out from here. We'll see. But I like that our deck was able to present lethal damage there. So this is a combo deck. Okay. Another Bowmaster is likely what we're dealing with here. This will get in. Okay. It's a lot of damage. breach, okay. Just a value breach. Makes sense. Let's see what we can find here, guys. What do we want? I feel like Null Rod just makes them place very fairly. Not going to be comboing me out or anything like that. Okay, they're playing some breach nonsense here. Do we want Leyline? I mean, we could try it. I actually don't mind Ghost Quarter, to be perfectly honest. Let's try this out. Yeah. This will keep the breach combo honest. A bait with a Nettle Cyst here. Crucible seems much more important. Get a Fatal Push here, Bowmaster. But if they top out for Bowmaster, okay, it is Fatal Push, okay. They didn't counter my Nettle Cyst with a Spell Pierce, so if they had one, I think they would have used it. Okay. Close Recall. Oh, sure. Okay. Okay, so they've got some lands here. Well, doesn't seem great for me here. I realize they could be sandbagging stuff, but I want to start making sagas. I feel like the Inventor's Fair is not very far off here. I guess I can just go get a Saga. I don't know. Wasteland's pretty good here. But Saga, if I can go and get a Crucible here, it's really powerful. Yeah, there it is. Hopefully they don't have Tinker. Okay. But I am going to probably have to play this Null Rod here. Okay. Nice clean win there. Okay. Not sure what Singpan Man is on these days, but they won the die roll. They do like their Doomsday. See if that resolves. Okay. We take those guys. I think Singpan Man really likes their Doomsday. The nice thing about Stonecoil Serpent is it just closes the game. It's just a very reliable, cheap beater. I can cast it at 1, I can cast it at 12. I feel like Golos probably could go. Should we get rid of Tabernacle? What am I talking about? I'm so used to not having Tabernacle on my original list, I'm skipping by it. These are all pretty awkward here. I think I have to mulligan that too. It's awkward. Just going for it. Oh, make it try to mind break trap, I guess. 2 on the bottom. Okay, did they didn't find a land with their only cantrip. All right, that's how you beat Doomsday, folks. Didn't see the Doomsday, but that's what it was. Okay, here we are against Wizard. We won the die roll. This is a nice looking hand here. They're a noted Bazaar player, but certainly could be on shops too. Hard to know 100%. Okay, it is Dredge. Well, that does tell us. And we should be able to resolve this turn 1 Needle. The issue we're faced with here is that my opponent is close enough to be able to manually discard after a couple turns, so I really do need to be able to close this out at a reasonable pace. Okay, they spared us. Let's see what we would have drawn. Oh yeah, we had another snake. Okay, we were going to get big enough to do that. Like next turn we were casting a 6/6. They go up to their 7th. The next turn we're casting a 7. No, next turn it would be a 7. And if we draw another one, yeah, so it would have had 2 7/7s. It would have closed before they were able to discard and dredge. Okay, we have a pretty good dredge sideboard. Leyline being the best of this lot. So we have to cut 4 cards here. I mean, Metamorph does copy pretty easily. The thing is these get bigger than hollow ones. Try this. Really nice hand. Lotus is really only excellent for Golos. I don't know, maybe I do get rid of one of the Moxes. Doesn't leave me with much though, does it? Down to 6 again. So that Chalice is pretty devastating. A little trick you want to do here is you want to wasteland before you deploy any of your stuff out, just traditionally. And the reason being is that could facilitate them force of vigoring early to try and noxious revival back their land, and that way you spare your other spells. But yes, we are kind of penciled in here to trying to get bigger than the hollow one here. Any soul land does it. I'm not going to play anything out here because I need all those artifacts to make my patchwork bigger. Pretty awkward. That's brutal. Yeah, we probably lose now. The grief was a good one. This is one of the risks when you play this style of deck that is a little bit lower on creature count, is you can just lose to something like a hollow one, like have the graveyard side of things wrapped up. Now, I think that it's pretty low prevalence that we lose this game, but they had the one of Chalice, which is pretty good. I'm playing it out. I could hold it, but all right, guys. All right. A little bit unlucky. All right, I just like the way we're set up here. I think I might like the sphere a little bit more on the play here. What could I take out? Not much, eh? The reason I like the spheres is to be able to protect my spells. All right, game 3. Pretty good. I shouldn't be losing to a Hollow one this game. Pretty vulnerable to Force of Vigor with this particular hand, but it is what it is. I kept a 7, come on. I'm not going to play out the cage. I'm going to risk that if they have a grief, it sucks, but I prefer to get those things Force of Vigor than my cage. Cage is a card that's like usually they are only able to procure one Grafdigger's Cage or Force of Vigor, excuse me, during a game. So we'll see. Yep, they did have the grief, so they got me good. They're going to take my Golos though. They're not going to take my cage. Yeah, they took Golos. All right, let's find some help. That does not help. They did have it. Now we will play a cage. Pass turn. It's not perfect, but it's a good one. All right, we'll take that one, guys. Nice win over Dredge. Okay, guys, here we are, round 1. Or round 5, excuse me. Playing against Luris. I don't think this is a hand we can keep. That's what I'm talking about. So, a couple of things we could do here. Well, first, let's figure out. I want to put back. Like, we're probably playing against Wastelands. These are all really good cards. I do need the Mox. What I'm anticipating doing would be Mox, Ancient Tomb, Trinisphere. And then I could, well, I can't have Thorn and do all this too. Or what I could do is I could go turn 1 Lodestone Golem. The Lodestone Golem is not nearly as impactful as a turn 1 Trinisphere, but it would certainly be a play I would consider for next turn. I think I put the Thorn away. So I'm going to play my Mox. I think I'm going to expose the Workshop, because the Workshop allows me, if this resolves, and it did, this potentially, if they don't Wasteland, allows me to Lodestone and hold up Wasteland. I expect them probably to Wasteland me here, trying to trap me under my own Trinisphere, but they mightn't. Yep. Great draw. It's risky. If they've got 2 more lands in succession that they can protect, but if they can't protect them, it's over. Okay. It's pretty good, guys. This is not so good. Gonna put them to the test. Do they have another land? They do. Basics. 2 basics. Like, what are the odds? They maybe have a fatal push here, but I'm not going to worry about that. Okay, they likely do. But this is irrelevant because now they are truly under my strip lock. Okay, I would have got there with that. Okay, so Luris. Those basics, though. I think Ghost Quarter is good because they're going to actively go and fetch basics. put the needle in there for snake or for what's it called? Psychic frogs. Stone Coil is very good against Psychic Frog, but of course they run a lot of removal. Yeah, I like the way this is set up. This hand is just so awkward. I feel like I can do better. Double Ancient Tomb is just such a trap. Okay. Not good. Probably representing a Bowmaster. Try to get this out here while I can. They may spell Pierce this, which is better than they know because I'm on a Tolarian Academy. Time walk, okay. Did not play a land there of note. And this requires specifically Force of Will to deal with. Or Cone Sign will work as well. Yeah. Well, here's the thing, right? Like, do they actually have it? Null Rod is so good too. Days would be a bummer if they had it, but okay. I'm going to expose my academy here for better or worse. I will make a construct. Because I wanted the ability to wasteland if I needed to. I guess I'll get Soul Ring here though. And I'm going to attempt to cast a Force. Okay, here we go. Not a great draw. Yeah, I'm unfortunately bricking here. Yeah. 2 turns, but it's going to be tough to get there if I keep just drawing land. Yeah, saw that one coming. Yikes. Okay. No land. Have to discard. That was an amazing draw. If I can resolve this, it's over. Okay. Oh no, they did find an answer. Boo. And I'm going for it. Getting a crucible. Can play around spell pierce here. Yep. Just infinite counter spells from my opponent. Yours, yep. Problem is if they can resolve, like I have an answer to the Lurrus here in the Dismember. They can't currently cast Lurrus. But if I can't resolve my Dismember, it's probably better to have this on 0. But I otherwise would love it at 1. I'm casting it at 1. Like, I just hope they don't have the Lurrus here. Lotus. Yep, got burned there pretty bad, didn't I? Yep. We are losing here. I desperately need this Dismember to resolve. It's Force of Will or Bust. They did find it. They're down to 1. Okay. Try and counter at 1. Now they can start drawing cards with Bauble. Is this a Swords? Oh, Master. Yep, and they can pay too. Yikes, guys! We had this one locked up. My opponent literally, I think, countered like a dozen of my cards this game. When they were weak, I was unable to close them out. Golos is so strong. Okay, it is in. It's very strong. Hopefully my Chalice at 1 here pays off. Their Bowmaster. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. So this does kill me here. Not this turn. I'm not sure how I get out of this, but okay. No black source to recast it. That's good for me. That was good. So they actually do not kill me here unless this gets countered. That was maybe a little bit of a greedy attack. Keep this guy. Guess we just get strip mine, right? Send this guy back to their hand. Here we go. They did find a land. So they are drawing cards here. Null Rod would be so banger here. That's pretty good too. Do I want to continue to go deeper? I don't feel like I'm going to bounce my Golos. It has to be the Lurrus. So I'm not going to attack here. I'm not the beatdown. That said, forcing a chump block here is pretty good. They're at 4 now. I've got a bunch of mana here. I'm at 4 life. I don't really want to pay any more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just hope they don't have a counterspell. Here you go. Caracas was big there. So the card that gets me here is Bowmaster. Creature would be so good. Right, they just double block. But I don't think I'm going to play around the Bowmaster. I think there's 3 of them out on the table here. The likelihood out of their 29 cards they have the last one is pretty low. I'm going to force my opponent here. Okay. Smart. Oh, he's going for it. That's not good for me. Well, they don't have Time Walk here. All right. Very solid 4-1 in this league. I felt like the deck performed really well. And Null Rod wasn't a huge game, but I would definitely say it was relevant. We saw the obvious power of Crucible of Worlds in combination with Golos, and Stonecoil Serpent held its weight against Oath there. And we didn't see a frog in that particular match with Lurrus. I don't think they're actually playing one, but we were prepared for it if it came out. And yeah, I don't know, guys, not a whole lot to say about the list. I felt like it ran pretty smooth, just a typical hybrid of Golo shops and aggro shops. And yeah, I really do enjoy this list. I think it's pretty solid, and I don't really think I'd make a whole lot of changes to it, to be perfectly honest with you. Um, yeah, please do like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe, guys. And we're going to see you next time.